Hi, I'm Darryl Choronzey, and today I really am doing something different. I'm fishing with a friend of mine, John Tory, the head of the Conservative Party of Ontario, right?
Absolutely.
Now listen, I've got a saying, all fishermen are liars except me and you, right?
And we're not sure about you.
Well, but listen, politicians are a little shady at times, right?
I've left this down here, Darryl. Oops, that's the kind of problem to have.
But politicians have got a little shady reputation sometimes, right?
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
I'm going to ask you a lot of questions today. Am I going to get lies or am I going to get the truth?
You're going to get the truth.
All right. Stick with us, because I'm going fishing with the boss of the Conservative Party, and hopefully, in a couple months, the head honcho of Ontario.
Look at the size of that fish down there.
I'm going to put this guy back
look right there. Look.
You're getting too excited, John.
Look.
Stick with us, because we're going fishing.
I'm going fishing all the time, and my baby's going fishing too. Bet your life that your sweet wife can catch more fish than you. Any fish will bite if you got the right bait. Now here's a little something that I'd like to relate. With my pole and my line, I'm going fishing. Yes, I'm going fishing. My baby's going fishing too.
Going Fishing with Darryl Choronzey is brought to you in part by Yamaha, when you want the best. Abu Garcia, for life. Berkeley, catch more fish. And by Darryl Choronzey's Canadian Fisherman's Breading and Batter Mix. Closed captioning for Going Fishing is brought to you by Rapala, the makers of Canada's favorite fillet knives. So how often do you get a chance to pick the brain of a politician running for the premiership of Canada's most populated province? Today's show takes place a month away from the Ontario election. Now, if you've been following Choronzey over the years, you realize that he's always been concerned about the fishery in his home province of Ontario and all across Canada as well. So stick with us as Choronzey and John Tory go bass fishing, talk a little politics, and discuss the fundamentals of what's best for the angling fraternity in Ontario and other provinces as well.
John? You know what? I told you I was going to take you to a glory hole. Where do you see this fish? Now, what's the biggest bass you've ever caught, John?
Probably 4 pounds.
4 pounds? Well,
Yep.
I'll tell you what. There's 5 right here. Look at this. And I want you to, hey, I want you to know something else.
Oh, oh my God.
I want you to know something else. I wasn't going to fish today, right? But that's the first cast, right? First. Now, I got these pliers here. Oh. Now, is that oh, I got her. It's okay. Now, is that a nice fish or is that a nice fish?
No, that...
Eh? Okay. Is that nice?
It's absolutely incredible. I've never caught a bass that big. Never.
Right
Never.
within minutes of own
Yeah, I'd be accusing you of a setup if I didn't know that.
It's a setup. I'm going to let this guy go, John. See him take off, John?
No, totally. Absolutely.
Okay, first questions first, right?
Yep.
The first question. You've got a new policy on Fish and Wildlife?
We do, and it starts with saying we're going to keep the deal. A deal's a deal. And we said back in the days when the special purpose account was set up to support the fish and wildlife, that every dollar that was put in by the people who were fishing in the permits would be matched by the government.
Okay, that's question number 1. So, okay, all I'm going to say is, this guy named Tory just said, if we put in $30 million through fishing licenses and hunting licenses, right?
We're putting in $30 million to match
The
it.
Conservatives are going to match it. And you know what he told me? I said, all fishermen are liars except me and you. And I said, hey, politicians are a little shaky sometimes. You said you're telling me the truth.
A deal's a deal.
A deal's a deal.
That
so
was the deal.
He's going to match our license money. Let's catch you a fish. What do you think?
Well, I like that a lot. Yeah, I noticed you got the first one.
It's my lake.
Good point.
There's probably no one in Canada that respects the volunteer work being carried out across the country by sportsmen in their efforts to improve our outdoors more than Darryl Choronzey. For Choronzey, community fisheries involvement programs have been a 3-decade labor of love. It started in British Columbia and continued as he helped promote the practice on his return to Ontario. His latest endeavor is to assist the Lake Huron Fishing Club and the Ontario Steelheaders in transforming Ontario's Saugeen River into the finest steelhead stream found anywhere in eastern North America. It's a massive flow of water and capable of providing some of the world's best steelheading with a little help from the volunteers. If there's one problem with these volunteer efforts, it's the fact that politicians, in their quest to save dollars for other programs, will sometimes attempt to turn taxpayer-funded hatcheries over to the public. Remember, these government hatcheries are paid for with license dollars. Leave those hatcheries in government hands. Community fishery programs should be just that, programs established by the fishing community.
Now listen, look at you got a big largemouth.
Oh, I do. Look at that.
I don't know what I...
Look at that, eh? Holy
Now,
mackerel.
you're going to lip him, or you want me to lip him?
No, I'm going to do it.
Okay, well, listen, get down here. I don't want you falling off the deck before the election.
I think it would be a good scene for the TV.
You're going to grab him by the lip when you get him out.
Yep.
Okay. Hi.
Look at that.
Like,
Oh,
reach
my
down and
God.
grab by the lip.
You got it.
Oh,
Hang
grab
on.
by the lip. By the lip.
Oh,
I told you to grab him by the
you did.
lip. I'll tell you what. Just watch this. I got to bring this smallmouth. Hey, that was about a 5-pound
It was.
largemouth bass.
It
You know
was.
that? Okay, grab him by the lower lip.
Yep.
Just grab that line nice and easy. Grab him by the lip. Get him up. Get him up. Get him up. Get him up. Now, is that a nice fish?
It is.
Hey?
It's a beauty.
Hey?
I've never caught a bass that big.
You never.
Years and years when I was, look at it. It's, well, maybe that one. That's not as big as
Hold
the
him up
first
this
one you
way.
had.
Just, now let that tail fall. Just hold him by the lip.
I got it.
Is that a nice fish or is that a nice fish, eh?
Yep.
Hey? Now, that's a smallmouth. That other one was a largemouth. You know
that's this big. I probably caught a smallmouth maybe that big.
Really?
Yeah. I used to catch mostly perch when I
I
was
thought
fishing
you
every day when I
told
was a boy.
me the truth today.
I did.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, that
Nice
might
fish.
be up in Muskoka and in Rebecca Lake. Caught a fish that maybe about that size,
Well, I'll tell you what.
but not as big as the first one you got.
I think
But
what we're
you
gonna do-
stage managed that one under the dock.
I think what we're going to do, that's a nice fish. I'm going to let him go. What do you
Okay.
think?
Yep.
Eh?
Yep.
You don't want to do a Jimmy Houston kiss.
After you.
I'll let him go. Okay, what I'm going to do is take us out here. I'm going to drift down the middle for the big ones. What do you think?
Okay, that's good.
Okay. One other question. The bear hunt. What are we going to do with the bear hunt?
Well, I've made no commitment to bring it back, but what we've got to start to do is make these decisions based on science. There's a nuisance bear problem. There's an industry destroyed, by the way. I mean, lots of jobs
By canceling that
lost.
spring bear hunt?
And I think that, what we've got to do is the ministry hasn't even bothered to do an assessment or monitoring of the bear population since the bear hunt was canceled because I don't think they want to know what the numbers are. The people up there can tell you what the numbers are.
So you're not going to bring the bear hunt back automatically, but
No,
you are
but
going to do some
I'm going to
studies?
start to do some studies and start to do some proper assessment of the bear population. We've got to start letting science make more decisions than politics.
So what he's saying is there is a possibility we're going to see the bear hunt back in some parts of Ontario.
Well, I mean, I think if you're going to do it, there's no question but that you would do it on the basis of saying, look, there may have to be different rules and different standards in place in different parts of the province depending on the science. But I'm saying I'm not going to bring it back, and no commitment to do that, but I'm saying you're going to start to make decisions based on science. Isn't that how we should do these things?
You know what? It's the truth so far, right?
Yeah.
Except the fish that you caught when you were a kid.
No,
Little
that's
white
absolutely
lie.
true. No, it was not a white lie. It was absolutely the truth. You think just because this is your lake and that you caught the first fish and that mine got away, that somehow I'm going to tell you that...
I told you, grab that fish
Well,
by
I
the
know you
lower
did. I
lip.
just wasn't fast enough.
That's exactly how
don't
you
get
could
as
get
much practice as you
That's
do.
exactly how you should get McGinney, right by the lower lip. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, well, you're entitled to that. And I don't disagree with it.
And now for the Darryl Choronzey's Canadian Fisherman's Breading and Batter Mix Campfire Comment.
John Tory, do you have any idea how many days I've been waiting for you around the campfire time?
Well, I think you're a year older than when we started this, aren't you?
Yesterday was my birthday, but it was 3
Happy
months ago
birthday,
you were
I know.
supposed to
Well,
be
all right,
here.
so I'm here now. So come
Okay,
on,
you're
let's
here
get on
now.
with
Let
it.
me ask you something.
Yeah.
I am fed up with all the governments, I'm going to say raping the natural resources, okay? Whether it's been the NDP or the Conservatives or the Liberals, right? And especially this last 4 or 5 years. Everything's been coming out of natural resources and nothing's been going back in. What's your
We're
plan?
putting a stop to that.
What are you going to do?
A deal is a deal. And the deal was that when you bought your fishing permit, the government matched that dollar for dollar
That's
to
what
save
they
the
said.
resource. That was the deal. The deal's not been honored. We're going to honor it. So that means $35 million more each year to match what people put in who go fishing. And we're going to use that money to hire more conservation officers and to stock more fish and make the resource stronger.
You're going to open up some of these offices that we're getting closed?
Well, we need, if you have a conservation officer, they need to have somewhere to go to make a phone call.
I'll tell you, I
How
tried
about
to...
gas for their car, too?
Well, gas for the car, but I tried to phone a biologist yesterday. Took me 6 hours to, and this is only 5 blocks away. The offices are almost shut down right across Ontario.
Well, that's what we've got to put back. If you want to protect the resource, you have to have stiffer penalties, more conservation officers. You got to be serious about this. More efforts in the hatcheries and so on. And that's what we're going to do with that money. We're going to match it dollar for dollar. We're going to honor the deal.
Now hold it. I asked you out in the water. I said, you know, all fishermen are liars except me and you, and sometimes I'm worried about you, and I tell everybody that. But politicians have got a reputation of being a little shady, right? You're not lying to me. You're telling me the truth.
I'm telling you the truth. I was a businessman, so I had to do what I said I would do. And in politics, I'm going to do what I say I'm going to do. It's going to be $35 million into the conservation, the Fish and Wildlife Fund to do the things I said, and that's that.
You got my vote, buddy.
Well, that's good. We're one ahead.
Think when you go to the polls, let me tell you.
Going Fishing returns in a moment. Big fish, especially big bass, will almost always show a preference for big oversized baits. Today, the boys are fishing 7 to 10-inch power worms and gulp worms. Now, with the aid of a small bullet head lead weight in front of these oversized, scented offerings, it's just a matter of seductively dropping it into Mr. Bass's dining room and then gulp.
Now that's monofilament there, John. So you gotta really get the lip on this guy. Now lean down, and when he gets out from under the boat, you're gonna have to grab him right by the lip. By the lip. By the lip. Oh!
We got
What was
him.
the grasp did you call that?
This was a single-handed McGinty grip. Yeah, no, this one only requires a single-handed McGinty grip. It's a nice fish, though.
Hey?
Now you see, that one is bigger than what I caught when I was a kid. I can't lie to you.
Hold him like this.
I can't lie to you.
What would you figure? How many pounds?
I'd say 4, maybe 3.5.
Well, you know you're an honest politician.
What do you think? What are you saying? Tell me,
I'd
what
say
is it?
3.5 to 4.
Yeah.
It's got a bluegill in its belly, I can tell that.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
most politicians would have said that's a 10-pounder.
No.
Not you, but most politicians.
No, but then did you ask me to include GST and PST? Yeah, no, that's a nice fish. Well,
Okay,
all
put
right.
him back.
We'll do it.
Another question for you, buddy.
Okay, I'm ready.
That one you can just let him slide. He'll go right on his own. There he goes. Another question for you.
Yeah.
Okay. You know I don't like Atlantic salmon, so I'm not going to talk Atlantic salmon this time around.
All right.
But you also know that this present government, because we haven't had the election yet, they went to the public and said, hey, we might be shutting down Ringwood. And the Federation has now taken over the operation of Ringwood, the Federation of Anglers and
Yep.
Hunters, right? Like some of their groups, put it that way.
Yeah.
You know I don't like the public running a provincial hatchery, okay? What's your suggestion?
Well, I think the OFAH did something that you hope they never have to do again, which is to step in. And you argue they shouldn't have because they took the foot off the government's throat.
I think they should have either put the foot down the government's throat
I
or ripped the
understand.
jugular
I
out. They've got
understand.
80,000 members.
I understand that. But Ringwood is open today, and I think what we're going to do going forward is take the money from, putting in the money to match the fishing permits, the special purpose account, and use that to not have any question about Ringwood staying open as a government facility. Now, do I have a problem? In fact, do I see a benefit in having lots of volunteers and people who have an interest taking part in running these hatcheries? Yes, I do. Do I have any problem with the fishing clubs around the province that are doing some hatchery operations of their own? No, I don't. But government facilities, by and large, should always have been run by the government. They only found a way to offload it because they wanted to try and cut back.
So you're telling me the government will take Ringwood back, but you may allow the public to work there.
And I talked to the OFAH about this, and I said, look, the government should be taking financial responsibility. They'll have the money to do it when we put this money in.
Yeah.
But if you want to have organizations take a hand in running it, you see, maybe you and I have a bit of a disagreement. I don't have a big problem with that, but it's the kind of thing where the bottom line's got to be that the government's putting the money in to keep the place going properly.
If they had 4 government employees working there.
You wouldn't care who else did it.
Yeah, I want the 4 back there because,
I hear you.
because my taxes and my fishing license paid for that hatchery and
I
was
hear you.
paying for those
I hear you.
employees.
And God knows I'm never going to forget anything you tell me because I'd pay for it for the rest of my life.
Thank you, buddy. I know you're smart.
I got to get back to fishing here.
And now for the Berkeley tip of the week. Largemouth bass are the most structure-oriented of all game fish. Never pass up the chance to fish logs, brush piles, docks, and weed beds in search of old bucket mouth.
This is a serious fish. No, this is a serious
Every fish you
fish.
go.
This is a serious fish.
Now listen, I'm going to
Yes.
lip him for you.
All right.
I got one
This
too.
is a serious fish.
Whoa,
Oh,
don't
look,
lift
now
him out of the water.
This is serious.
I
No,
got
no,
one
I'm not.
too.
This is a serious
Just-
fish.
Hang on a second. Whoa. Hang on. I got him.
My
Now.
God,
Yeah, but
I
I
would
got
say,
him. What am I going to do with my rod?
I
Hold
would
your
say,
fish.
all right, I'll hold my fish.
Will you hold your fish?
I will. We got him the McGinty grip. I would say this is bigger than the one you caught the first. Well, I think it is. I think it's bigger. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
I think I got a bigger one than you.
No, you. Oh yeah, have a look. Yeah, have a look. Yours is like a dinky toy. Now this is a fish.
Now
That's serious.
Let me get rid of my monster.
That's fairly serious.
Okay. You want to take him home and eat him?
What? Yeah. No,
Not the big
thanks.
one.
No.
Let me see that for a minute. I'm going to show you something. That is a dandy fish, John.
No, it is. It's a beauty.
You know?
I think.
Hold him for 1
second.
second.
That first one that you caught?
Yeah. Hold him for 1 second.
All right.
Yeah, I'm listening to you.
This is well in excess of that. I don't want to tell you this and disappoint you.
Let me see this thing.
What?
I want them out there to see it. Now, I want to know the honest truth.
Yes.
Let me shut this min coat off.
The honest truth.
Turn that fish sideways so they can see it.
All right.
I'm going to take, now, do you remember the name of the bait, what I told you this was?
Gulp.
Gulp.
Gulp,
Right?
and you said it works every time.
It
It's got a
works.
great scent on it. I can't smell it, but
I got to find my pliers in my back
they're
pocket.
right. Okay, there we are.
Now, I want to know something.
Yeah.
Have you ever caught a bass that big?
I have not. And that's
Do not
obviously-
let him go.
It's obviously because I was not using gulp.
You were using gulp.
No, I say I wasn't using gulp when I wasn't catching fish.
Oh,
like this
that's it. I
before.
just thought you
Come
were
on,
going to say.
Get in the game here. I'm trying to help the sponsors, for God's sake.
Nice
You
fish?
Work with me.
I'll work with you, buddy. Nice fish.
That is a nice fish.
You know?
That's a beauty.
I don't think a member of the Conservative Party's ever caught a largemouth bass that
Well,
big.
certainly this leader has not caught a largemouth bass that big. I haven't.
Nice fish, eh?
No, it's a beauty. It's a beauty.
Tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to let him go. What do you think?
I think you should do that.
Okay.
So you can catch him again.
Catch him again.
There you go.
There he
He's
goes.
just
I give
having
him
a
a little
little
touch and he
There he is.
goes down.
Yeah.
He went down just like the Liberals.
Abs-
Congratulations.
Oh, it's good. No, I wasn't leaving here. You can see the sun's going down. I wasn't leaving until I got a big one.
That was a big one.
It was
Listen,
good.
okay, so we've talked about the COs, right?
Right.
We've talked about you guys matching the money, so whatever
Yep.
the licensed dollars
Talked
hunting and
about
fishing.
Ringwood and the hatcheries.
Yeah, and you are going to take over Ringwood. You're going to let these clubs, send in their volunteers to work them.
Well, no, I think that's a good thing. We want people to be involved, but I think this is a government operation before. It was only taken over because
My man,
because
yes.
of the
Incompetence, or I'm going to say incompetence. I mean, honest to God, and I've sat and watched this, and I've told you before, the best natural resources minister I've ever seen is Alan Pope. That's me saying that, okay? Because he listened to the anglers, and he listened hard to the
Now, I
anglers.
want to put one back to you.
Okay?
If we had the requisite people in there from the MNR to make sure they ran the place, the professionals that you're talking about, I'm not saying the OFH people aren't.
Yeah.
Do you have a problem with the OFH having a big role in running the place as long as the professional staff are there that you want?
I want 4 professional
servants.
staff, 3 or
Yeah,
4
public
in
servants.
there. I don't mind if this Metro East anglers come in there and help out. No, I don't. I mean, I don't care if you've got 20 people, but the more people you get in the hatchery, the more problems you get with
You're sounding more
disease.
reasonable by the minute.
Yeah, I'm getting reasonable. I want.
That's
I
a
do
worry.
not want the Federation of Anglers and Hunters running Ringwood. I want the government running Ringwood with the assistance of some concerned sportsmen.
And that includes the OFH if they wanted.
That
They're
includes.
concerned
Hey,
sportsmen. They're good people.
I'm all for most of the OFH. There's a couple people there that I bang heads with, right?
Yeah.
And they,
Why
you know,
am I surprised to hear
yeah,
that?
yeah, okay. It's the
Maybe
tail
it'll be a
wagging
shorter
the
list
head.
who you don't bang heads with, but that's okay. 'cause
Listen,
that's, hey.
sometimes it's a case of the tail wagging the head, and that's what's happening in some of these organizations now. I don't want to say anymore.
But I hear you on Ringwood, and I just think we can form a good partnership between the government, which is should be the owner, and should be the people that are driving the place, and the public, the people who are interested in the resort.
Okay, you're going to start a council of sportsmen.
We're going to start an outdoor caucus, and
Okay.
it's going to be a group that's going to get together, and we're going to listen to it, and they're going to speak up on these issues so we can learn. Why do the experts in government always are always assumed to be the ones that know all the right answers?
The problem is most of the experts in the Ministry of Natural Resources today don't know, and I'm not being smart on this. You don't stock salmon off breakwalls. You don't. I don't want to go the Atlantic salmon. I don't want to go on some of those issues.
you're
But
just saying,
but
the
I
more
would
we
I would get
listen-
rid of some of the bureaucrats and hire more conservation officers. How's
The
that?
more we listen, well, you know what? And if you should run for office.
No, I'm talking by bureaucrats. I'm not being.
No, but I'm saying you should run for office so you can make those decisions.
Well, you get Murdoch out of here, and I'll do that. How's that? Murdoch is
He'll
here
never
for
get
as
rid of
long
it.
as he
And
wants
he
to be
is.
here.
He could
And
be 95 when he retires.
Willie Murdoch, right? He's
Willie Murdoch.
I say
He's the best.
I say he's shoots from his hip and he's fast with his lip.
From the exactly right.
Right?
That's right. We don't need to have any kind of McGinty grip on him.
We're going to have some fun. Listen, thank you very, very much.
Thank you for having me. This place is fabulous. It's fabulous.
What I did do is I did do a bass show earlier, or a bass cooking show earlier with my son, right? And, gee, I don't even know if Josh was in there. I think I ate all the bass that I caught
You're
this
looking
morning.
good nonetheless.
Thank you very much.
Looking good.
We're going to go out, but I got to thank you very, very, very much for coming up.
It's great.
It was a lot of fun.
Here. And we're going to do what we said we're going to do so that you'll have me on again and you'll say, you know what? Most of the fishermen I have on here are liars, and all the politicians except you.
If you lie, I'm going to drown you right here in this lake. You know?
Don't you think I'm not aware of that?
Listen, I'm not telling you who to vote for, right? If you guys are, and you ladies are concerned sportsmen, whether you're a fisherman, a hunter, a camper, I'm being honest. The natural resources went down the tube the last 4 to 7, even 8 years. You know, there's mistakes that were made with conservatives in the past, with the liberals, with the NDP. But anyways, you're correcting those mistakes.
I'm going to try.
We're doing this show, we're going to run it twice before the election, right? And then twice after the election. So I hope, and I'm almost positive, you're going to be the next premier.
We're going to work on it. With your
One
help.
more time, thank you
That was
very
a
much.
good fish, too. Thank you. That was a big one.
We're still going to fish.
That's the biggest fish, biggest bass I ever caught, so now I can say it was happening right here with you. And with Gulp.
Going Fishing returns with the Napoleon Barbecue's Shore Lunch.
Now, real quick, I don't care whether you live in Newfoundland, British Columbia, Ontario, Saskatchewan, Alberta, or Quebec. Our fishery is in big trouble right across the country. So when you go to the polls, whether it's provincial or whether it's federal, think before you vote, think fish, think wildlife. Because again, our fish and our other natural resources are in trouble. Okay, I don't want to get any of you bass pros upset, but this is a bass fillet. Now, bass are members of the sunfish family. I practice catch and release. The tournament guys have to practice catch and release, but where the fishery is healthy, don't worry about eating bass. Now, I've let these fillets swim in a little bit of beer. I'm gonna drop them into a mixture, and I'm not gonna say whose mixture it is. You wanna coat it really well. And really important, you want that oil or the shortening to be 360 degrees or a little warmer. Now, one last time, when you go to the polls, whether you're voting federally or provincially, think of your fish and your wildlife, okay? Get some of these clowns out of politics and get the good guys in. And another thing, don't listen to a lot of these guys. Catch and release is great. Eating bass is great. Release the fish when there's a problem with the population, but when the population's healthy, eat a few bass, just for me. Bass are a member of the sunfish family. And again, when I'm outside, I don't like using forks. You want to know the honest truth? Bass is as good eating as trout, salmon, or walleye. So enjoy your fishing, conserve, and think when you go to the polls.
For more information on today's fishing location and other going fishing destinations, visit goingfishingtv.com. Going Fishing with Darryl Choronzey has been brought to you in part by Yamaha, when you want the best. Abu Garcia, for life. Berkeley, catch more fish. And by Darryl Choronzey's Canadian Fisherman's Breading and Batter Mix.
Going fishing.